Very good. All right, we're recording. We're starting the class. And the first thing that I wanted to talk to you about is Jonas, Amari, and Jasmine. You were going to decide what we wanted to do for Speechapalooza.
Yeah.
And do you want to do it online, or do you want to gut it or skip it rather?
Well, I sent a message out to Andrew and Jonas, and Andrew said that he is still up in the air about it because all of this is like super overwhelming, which is totally understandable. Amari said that she still wants to do it. I guess I kind of wanted to just talk with everybody to see what everybody else feels like too, because if I say let's like not do it at all, then all of us are going to be like, everyone else is going to be taking all of that extra work as well.
Yep.
But like, I want to make sure that if we do it, everybody does their job like thoroughly and wholeheartedly, because now we have even less time to communicate with everything.
Okay, and just to be clear about one thing, in terms of extra work, there's not going to be extra work, because if we don't do it, I'm just going to be sending you things to do, which will be more or less very similar to the work you've done prior to this, where it's like I give you a business and I say, here's the situation, how do you promote it? And I'll be giving you a lot of those, and I'll be giving you plenty of work if you don't do this. And if you do this, obviously I'll give you less work, because I don't want you overwhelmed. The thing I like about this, and here's what I think is your best bet. I think we should do it over multiple days based on really how much content we can get. I think we should do videotapes, basically half hour to 20 minute to half hour videotapes, and maybe multiple hosts. And that's this way you can get more people involved. And you would do it on multiple nights. And so you would do, let's say, a Monday through Friday Speechapalooza. And it would be on basically the same time every day or every night.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things you can do with that. For one thing, you can involve more people. For another thing, you can involve, or you can get a lot of media. You can get a lot of, I think you can get a lot of play. And I've mentioned it to a few other people, and they've kind of agreed with me that this is the sort of thing where people right now, the media is looking for stories, and the only stories are online stories. I mean, the courts are barely meeting. You know, newspapers are, like everybody else, are laying people off. TV stations have again, very limited number of things to write about. Government's not meeting, and everybody who is meeting like this. They're meeting online. So I think that you've got a story that would appeal to the media. I think from an online perspective, I think the audience that you could gain could actually be greater than the audience that you would get if we did a one-time thing in the afternoon at school. And I think that the opportunities for people to be involved, because of the fact that you've got, I mean, the editing of the speeches is basically going to be cutting off the front and the back, just trimming it. There's going to be a lot of content. It should be relatively easy to get. I mean, you should basically be able to set up or I could set up a Dropbox folder, or you guys could set up a Dropbox folder, and just send something to the speech teachers and ask them to drop the best videos they have of student speeches into that Dropbox folder. And then we just put it online. And I think if we did, let's say 3 per episode, let's call it an episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do 3 speeches. If you wanted to dress it up, you could maybe have one of the speakers come in. I don't think you should have all of them come in. But if you had, for example, let's say, Trey, you're hosting a show, or you're hosting an episode of Speechapalooza, and Andrew's speaking, maybe you're going to show his speech, and then you're going to talk to Andrew about speaking with no crowd, or what it's like to be involved in this lockdown, self-isolation that we're involved in. Anything like that. It'll make it a little bit more compelling. It'll put a little more spin on it. I do think there's got to be a focus from you guys on the importance of public speaking for students, in order to really hook people like NPR like WHDH. I'm sorry, who's that? Was that me? Okay. But I think you've got a real opportunity here, and I don't think it's any different than, there won't be a different workload. That's what I'm saying. The workload's going to be the same either way. I just think this is a really good way to learn public relations.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys.
I do have one question though. What would the primary advertising outlet be?
Well, I would say it's going to be online because that's where people are right now.
What platform, I guess?
What's that?
What platform? Like the school website or the school paper? Or should we just try to send releases to as many papers as possible? What's the best way to get this?
I think that the best thing to do is to find out first if there is a Speechapalooza social media site, because I think somebody said there was, right?
Yeah, I think there's a Twitter.
Twitter.
Okay, so there's Twitter, so that's not necessarily where we want to be. What do we want to be on YouTube?
Well, we can upload it to a whole bunch of different places.
Yep.
I know the student that runs the school social media on Instagram and Facebook. So that could be
One
a good
issue that
place
we
to
get into
advertise.
with the school is if we do it on a school platform, you're going to have school interference. They're going to have to approve things, which I don't think would be that big a deal, but you might find it's a hoop that you don't want to jump through, or maybe as a learning experience, it's a hoop you do want to jump through. But I do know that once you get to the school's platform versus the student platform, you're going to lose a little bit.
I bet we could just have the school social media just retweet or whatever, share
Yep.
whatever we post out, and then that's all we need.
Yeah. And
Have it on our own social media.
Yeah.
And I think you can choose the platform. I mean, you can do, it's not that tough to set up a YouTube account. It's not that difficult to set up a Facebook page. It's really up to you guys. And I'll talk to Dr. Amy Callahan about what exists if there's anything besides Twitter.
So what do you guys think? Should we do it?
I know the NECC Observer is still publishing online.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and also put an article in there. If I can get all the information, I can write one and send it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm in favor of it. I don't know. I'm excited to do this project if we do it, and I don't know. I think it's not like prohibitively difficult in these circumstances. It's just different.
So the Twitter account has like 55 followers, so I don't know if it's the best way.
They're probably just all people who
Goddamn,
spoke
my
in it.
connection.
And that
I feel like if we post
We don't have
on
any other way.
Facebook, they might be more apt to seeing it.
Just do Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just do all three. Just make an account and just have the school social media retweet it. That's the only way we're gonna get shown.
Could we
Right.
could we get exposure by maybe using the money that we were going to fund towards pizza into advertising through
You could
Facebook.
ask, but I think the chances of getting that approved, I don't know. You can ask. I think that sponsored posts is one way to do it. I think another way to do it would be to do, just asking people to share. It's I have a friend who's a marketer, and he is just unapologetic about when he's got something he wants and he wants it to go viral. He will just send out a thing to 1 million people he knows saying, can you please share this? Can you please share this? Can you please share this? And the reason is because he wants to sell his book on marketing, or he wants to launch this product, or he wants to get people to come to this event. And most people do. I mean, I'll do it for him. And he gets a lot of shares. His books have been on the New York Times bestseller list. And, he does these various techniques to kind of get likes, get shares, get noticed, and sell books. And it's been really successful for him. And it's been successful not just in books, but in other things. So we can ask about the money, but another opportunity might just be having, maybe a three-person group, or maybe just have everybody in the class just send something to their friends saying, please share this.
Okay, so we need to figure out like who's gonna do what jobs then, I guess.
I think that's,
And then when we're gonna do it.
well, I think the first thing to do is to take our media plan and maybe just look and see how you're gonna change the plan, and then that will help you change the personnel. In other words, there's gotta be nobody in charge of the food anymore. Who's in charge of the food? Cole?
Rip.
Yeah.
So,
We can
it
still
won't be
have
as
food.
simple as that. And what are the changes gonna be with, if it goes 5 days, which I think is reasonable, who's the person who was in charge of talking to the public speaking teachers?
Me,
Right.
I'm sorry, who?
me, Rachel.
Hey, Rachel. Okay.
Hi.
So Rachel, what I'll do is I'll put you in touch with Amy Callahan, and she'll give you a list of the public speaking teachers. And you can just send out an email that describes what you need and when you need it by.
Okay.
What's a good
That sounds
time?
good.
What's a good time for us to get this? What's a good time?
any-
Go ahead.
Anytime is fine. Yeah, I got laid off from work, so I'm home all day. So
Yeah,
anytime.
What'd you do?
Oh, that sucks.
What'd you do for a job?
I was a receptionist at Cedardale Health and Fitness,
Okay.
and they ended up closing like
Right.
March 16th. So I'm home.
Well, sorry about that, but good that you're
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. So
What do we have now? We have next week, the week after, the week after. So we don't have a ton of time for this, to set this up. So there should be probably,
I think May 11th is the last day of the semester.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if
So
it's
just
still
over a
open.
month.
what's that?
Can they push it back? Because there's a lot of material that got delayed. Like we lost a week of the semester. So is it possible that they would push the date forward?
We can
Well,
do,
that's not like an us thing. That's like a whole school thing.
right.
Right. So that would extend our deadline now.
It would, but it's a pretty big ask.
Yeah.
And I think really what makes sense is most teachers should have content by, what's the week of April 14th? Anybody get a calendar?
It's
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that week. Well, it's the 14th is on a Tuesday.
Okay, so the end of that week would be 17, 18?
The 17th is Friday.
Okay. So by the end of the 17th, we're the 2nd, so 2 weeks from now, I would say that would probably be the date, Rachel, that you'd want to get things by. Is that going to be,
the 14th, that should be fine.
I mean, Cole, you're in public speaking. You'll be doing two speeches by then. You think one of them will be good? I think that's enough time, but you know, it may not be. If the teachers say we can't get anything good in that time, then you can redo it. But I know with my classes, I've got 2 public speaking classes. I've got a pretty good bunch of speakers in the Haverhill group and a fairly good group in Lawrence as well. So even if we took them all from those 2 classes, we'd probably have 15 good speeches, which is,
So
yep, go ahead.
yeah, as a result of this obviously being online now, I don't think there's one element that I think's gone, is that we don't obviously need the school's approval for everything, as we discussed before, but we also aren't reliant on speakers being able to be at the school. Would it make sense to reach out to speakers who might not already be affiliated with the school, but people we could reach outside of it, even in other, I guess in academia otherwise, who might have a good perspective on current events with what's going on right now, things like that. I know people at some pretty solid institutions that might be able to, because it's just easy now. I could get them to record something quickly and then see if they can send that.
I'm thinking about that. I think if we go outside the school, you're really changing the mission of the. I'd say if we don't have to, we should stay within what we've got, because what I'll be asking for in public speaking is you videotape yourself giving a speech and put it in a Dropbox folder. And so theoretically, I'll be getting 12 from one class and 20 from another. So of those 32 speeches, I can basically pick 15. And some of them won't be the greatest recordings. Probably most of them won't be the greatest recordings, but they'll all be things that you can put up and they'll have thought behind them, hopefully, and they'll be
Right.
interesting enough. But then you'll also have the aspect of, I mean, think about public speaking with no public. It's like right now, I'm not looking at, and I'm not really looking at anybody because I'm looking at the pictures, so I'm not looking at the camera. And I'm getting feedback to a certain extent because I'm looking at the pictures, but if I'm actually doing it the way I should, which is looking right here at the camera, I don't know what your nonverbals are. I don't know who's listening, who's not listening. I can see
I'm
these.
not.
Yeah, I know you're not. Well, I shouldn't say that, William. I knew you weren't listening, but it is a little bit different for the speaker. So I think it's sort of artistically, it may not be the greatest thing in the world, but we're not really looking for artistry here. If it's good, it'll be fantastic. But if it's not, at least you'll be, I mean, you want to be good as the host. Obviously, if we're doing 5, I know we had co-hosts at one time, and I know maybe somebody else is interested in hosting. There's nothing says we only have to have 1 host or 2 hosts. You know, we could have 5 in one scenario, or we could have, you know, one person who hosts 3 and one person who hosts 2, whatever you want to do like that, which will take some of the time burden out of it. I don't think there's a big burden to hosting, but it'll take some of the time element out of it. So I think there's multiple ways to do it, but I think we should try and stay within the school if we can, because I think it'll be easier. I think it'll be fairly easy to gather the videos. I think, you know, you do have the issue of, well, what if we get too many? And then you're gonna have to work that, we'll have to work that out. And then the other part of it is, you know, will they be good? You know, if you've been to Speechapalooza, you know that sometimes the speeches they're generally pretty good, but there are always a couple of dogs in there too. So I don't think really that's the point. I think the real point is, here's a group of students who've taken an event that has canceled because of the coronavirus, and they made it happen anyway online through this kind of an innovative way to do it. And remember, if we lost Beachapalooza and we didn't do it, you guys are losing the vehicle of which you were going to be learning public relations. So that's kind of the angle you want to be selling to the press. And I think that's the stuff that the NPRs of the world would be really interested in. So now watch, nobody will be interested in it. It'll be terrible.
I wanted to ask, are we going to have like something we send to the people, if we're going to get people sending videos to us, are we going to give them like guidelines for their video? Because like use
a good idea.
a
Rachel,
camera
what do you
that's
think?
not garbage and do it this way. And because we don't want to upload like the worst quality video.
We can lip sync it. We can lip sync the audio.
Well, yeah, I think you have to remember too that I think you have to
Having
remember
some
too
low
that
quality equipment might.
there's
make
actually
it kinda
a
charming.
term they use in professional videography. It's called good enough for the web. And it has to do with basically the web is very forgiving in terms of quality. But yeah, I think we could look for good videos. I mean, we could look and we could say we want to pick the best and just send us the best. That's one way to do it, Rachel. I mean, usually for Speechapalooza, in my classes, anybody who wants to do it can do it. And generally the people who do it are the better people. But really it's just a question of if you want to be involved. Now for this, because they're not doing any, because the students aren't doing anything additional, it could be as simple as saying to the professors, please forward your best speeches and we'll make we'll determine which ones. We can only pick, let's say, we can only pick 15, we can only pick 20, whatever the number is. And we could do it that way.
Okay,
But
that sounds good.
does that sound good?
Yeah.
Now, William, I don't know if you know this, William, but you were volunteered to do the editing of the videos, which, as we said before, is
Yep.
basically just taking off the front and the top and the bottom of it.
As a couple people know, I know I made I'm working on like a little graphics package for it. So if he does edit it or I do, I can send that over to him.
Yeah, that'd be.
whatever.
Are you seeing that as like a cover, what would they
Well-
call it? Are you seeing that as a
So-
graphic to run at the top of the episode?
Well, no, I had that as that was just a mock-up with a bunch of like lower thirds. I could pull it up right here and show it to the camera a little bit. Cut down. Okay. Hold up. See, like, down. Let's see. You see how they look like they're on these multicolored brush strokes? They all have like random bullshit written on them. I don't know Rachel's last name. I'm sorry.
Anderson.
Tatley, everybody, but it's just a bunch of names on there for now. All right, thank you. I'm not expecting this markup, but yeah. So I had that, and they'd be like lower thirds. So when someone would start their speech, it would come up lower third of the screen, the bottom, and just to introduce them. And then the logo is just kind of like a bullshit one right there, but that was kind of just for whatever in the editing process, and I could fill out a whole package of stuff with
Will you
similar
incorporate
design.
that?
I mean, like I can also get
format.
paid to edit this shit, like
That's what
for
I'm talking
like because I have personal projects I can do, and then like through HC Media, which I'm still getting paid, I can do stuff from home, so I can do whatever it needs to be done. Or me and Trey can bounce it off each other, whatever.
Love you, Will.
Okay. So from here, Jonas and Amari and Jasmine, you could kind of, you could either pick over the weekend and just send emails. You can take a look at your list. And again, is there anything else that we won't need for this? I mean, obviously we don't need people to put up posters around the school, right?
Right.
We don't need food. We don't need to worry about setup in the room. So what do we have to worry about? Hosting?
I think
I
that
guess
we
we have
need
to worry
to.
about hosts. We have to worry about making sure that like you're able to view it. That like if you're gonna submit a speech, it's like not just you talking. It's like you like viewing them, I guess, like access to a video camera.
Yeah.
I think that this piece of software, it's free. I installed it. I can show you guys what it looks like. You put your camera. It has like whatever PowerPoint you have, and then you can crop your camera in front of it. It's called Open Broadcaster software. You can share what it looks like if you want.
What's the program, Andrew?
I gotta run.
It's called Open Broadcaster software, or OBS.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Broadcaster software. Okay.
You bounce?
It does require you to have a camera. You don't have to use a camera, but it makes it's a good way to have you, like the speaker, in there, and then also whatever's behind you, like your PowerPoint or whatever. You can crop it to have that in there, and it's pretty straightforward. I've used it before.
Okay. So, yeah, that's. I mean, we could use this in video, and if I got a little bit smoother with it, I could pretty much put three. I could put 3 videos on and just play the videos, and use screen share, and do something that would be good enough for this broadcast. I mean, there are certain things you've got to do, like put the light in front of you so it shines on your face so they can see you. And other than that, it's just the switching. So just a screen share, really. So if you can learn the screen share, and if this software is good at it, as Andrew says it is, then I think you can get something, again, good enough for the web, without a whole lot of training and a whole lot of effort. I think the
Also,
question might
get
be,
the-
what's that?
I was gonna say we have to make sure people who submit for your class their video, we gotta make sure they do it in landscape orientation, like for
Right, like having
because then it just
something. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
we need to
that's
tell
what I-
them like how to do it.
Yeah, there should be some sort of
Please.
editing standard.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Like that OBS, if everybody uses it because it's free, the videos will be like consistent. They'll have a similar.
All right, so you're saying it's got to be landscape orientation. And is there a preference? I mean, I'm telling my students to videotape on whatever they have, which for a lot of people is going to be their phone. Is that?
It's not a
smart?
major compromise in quality anymore.
What's that?
Especially if people have like newer phones, that's usually not a major compromise in video quality anymore.
Okay, how about the
It's true.
size of the file? Are videos off of?
That won't be an issue.
I think we would want them to be like a .mp4 because there are other files that you might not be able to edit.
I don't think it'll be an issue, but I mean, if they record off their phone, it should just be in that naturally, and then we can put it in a Google Drive and share it that way.
Okay,
Andrew and Jonas and I made a Google specific, like a Gmail account specifically for Speechapalooza. Do you
Okay.
guys want that information?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can set up something
Yeah.
where they can drop it into
Okay.
Drive.
I have like the username and password if you guys want it. It's like specifically for Speechapalooza. We haven't used it yet because we haven't obviously been reaching out to anybody yet. But
What's
if you
the-
guys want it, just let me know.
Bruh.
I think
The
If we
name.
just ask people to send it to that email, then we can put it all in a drive then.
Yeah, that way like Trey can take it all and edit it, and Will can take it all and edit it and whatever, bounce it off.
okay. So the next step, I guess, is, and so if we're taking people off of the posters, off of the setup, the production setup, also, I think you're going to broaden out the story to think about who's going to reach out to who. I think you should have it in mind, Jasmine, if it happens, who's going to be the spokesman for the group. If somebody decides to, if somebody decides to have you on, is it good? Obviously, you start with you, Omari, and Jonas. But you have to kind of decide who's going to be the spokesperson if they ask for a spokesperson. And you want to come up with what the message is, whatever the message is. You also want to look at your press list in terms of your publics that you want to reach. And there are some people who are going to want to reach or let's put it this way, you as a group, you want to reach I would say any kind of educational media is going to be interested in this. I would say Boston stations, national stations might be interested, believe it or not. And obviously, you're working in concentric circles. You've got the Lawrence Eagle Tribune and the Haverhill Gazette, and then you've got the Boston media, and then you've got your national media, your PBS, believe it or not, the CBS News, the NBC Nightly News. They all might be interested because they're all looking for stories, and online right now is where it's at. And you would be the plucky class of community college students who saved your event by bringing it online. And this is why I think we've got to have that.
Plucky.
What's that?
Swear to God, if they use Plucky in a headline to describe them.
Well, you are plucky. People ask me all the time. In fact, I used it specifically to describe you the other day. So they said, "What's he like?" I said, "He's plucky."
Plucky.
Lucky.
Anyway,
What the hell does that mean?
plucky. It's feisty. It's got I don't know what it means. Anyway, so you want to basically have that. I think that's an important part of your message. But that's a story you're basically selling. Is that you had a student event that students look forward to every year. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but that you have an event that runs every year, and you're going to lose the event, but you were also going to lose the event that you're going to learn from, because it was an event that you put on as a class and you promoted as a class. Now you've got a chance or an opportunity by putting it online to save it and also get the lessons. So, I mean, I'd be interested in that. If I was a reporter and I was looking for a story and I had done all the coronavirus stories that people would have done how long have we had this? 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks? I mean, we've been in lots of,
I've lost time.
3 weeks.
what's that?
I've lost
Like
perception of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
stories,
I was mean.
Viral.
the story is going to just repeat, and the reporters will be getting sick of it, and they'll be looking for new stuff. So this kind of fits in that category of new and unusual. Have you all seen the Bishop Stang chorus online rendition of Happy Together?
No.
I'll post it on the on
That's what Plucky
Blackboard.
means.
It's a really interesting it's a really interesting video because they basically do a setup just like this, where we got faces on a screen and they sing and they harmonize, and it actually sounds really something like that. So
That's a good
I'll
song.
send you that because that's kind of an unusual thing. So you want to basically try and get as far as you can get with this story. And as I said, you know, the plus is if you get picked up by Boston media, or if you get picked up by Boston media, it's a resume piece for your 4-year college and for your career if you decide to go into communications. So
I think a good message, an easy message for our for this now is that it's like before we were like, oh, speaking in public is good, you know, and all that. I mean, we could do it now. Like basically, we're still trying to get students to interact even when they're at home, in spite of all what's happened. Like I feel like we have a much easier like message now to get it out.
well, I can tell you this, that's not bad. Now, that's not a bad angle. I still like mine, but it's really up to you which one you take.
Either way.
I think that one thing about the presentation thing is that there is a lot of information out there, including the information from employers that say young employees don't have strong communication skills and don't have strong presentation skills, and the fact that they're important for HR people when they hire people, and they're important for promotion. But you know, it's really up to you. You guys can pick. So I think what might be easiest, Jasmine, is if I just walk away and log off for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back and you guys can divide that up. Does that work for you, Jasmine?
Enable screen sharing?
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
So,
Wait, what's going on right now?
Where did Mari go?
Right here.
Oh, there you are. Sorry. Why don't you two kind of divvy up what you want to do, or is that good? Or do you want to do it now?
Well, like, what exactly are we divvying up?
Oh, I think
Looks
you want
like
to take.
sort of
I
like
think you-
unmoderated.
jobs?
I think you want to take your plan, and I think you want to just adapt your plan for this group. And then I think you can take the people who are here, and I don't know, I mean, has John hasn't really logged in, right? I haven't heard from, I don't think we've heard from John since we came back.
No, neither.
called it that he wouldn't be here.
Jonas,
of
you're
you
back
guys
already?
Student email.
Hi, Jonas.
I'm sorry, Jonas, I didn't see you before.
No, I got that because my Outlook email
Pacific.
Oh,
is
okay.
horrible, and it displays all calendar times in Pacific time, and I don't know why. So there's it's a 4 o'clock meeting, and I thought it was at 1. So.
Yeah, this one,
Rip.
some versions of Zoom would do that, and yeah, online stuff is all evil that way. So, Jonas, I was just saying, I don't know if you were here for that, and I just didn't see you, but at this stage, I think you can take these people who are here, which are, there are what, 17 of you, or 16, and you can kind of determine what you 16 are going to do, and then you might determine what's left over for the people who aren't in class but are on your list.
Yeah.
And you basically want to take what you've got, Jasmine, and kind of divide it up. Think about the fact that you've got multiple days. Think about the fact that you need to, you know, the people who posted are now maybe going to just get on social media and promote that in that direction. One thing you guys should be aware of is Delenia doesn't have either she doesn't have a mic or a camera. So she can hear everything, but she can't respond except by hitting the chat. And you might have to explain it. Delenia, if you float your cursor down the bottom, you can get into chat and you can communicate that way. So, all right, I'll get off for how long? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the whole class?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll get off in 5 minutes and I'll come back. See you in 5 minutes. All
We'll tell you to leave again then.
right, stay on though, because I want to talk to you about homework.
All right, let's peace
Okay,
out.
so what are we doing?
This is a matter up for debate.
Oh my god.
I've seen his YouTube account description. It's fantastic.
Yes, I did.
What?
It's brilliant.
So
What are we
rude.
doing? What are
I
we
have
supposed
no
to be
idea.
doing?
Okay, so far I have Trey and Will doing editing, and that's it.
Epic.
All right, that's
Maybe
cool.
somebody
Wanna
needs to do
edit-
marketing.
Do you want to
Huh?
edit alternate episodes just completely differently?
Ooh.
Wait.
Yeah, just like outrageous. Totally different.
Each one should have a completely different like look and structure.
I'm gonna use really quirky
All
transitions.
simultaneous.
A cube.
It's like a Zoom conference.
So,
Um,
how many days do we want to spread this out across?
Like
I don't know.
just like a release schedule. So we want to do like how long are the speeches gonna be? What should we limit it at? What are we gonna
It
do
also
before?
depends on how many people speak. Like we still haven't
Yeah.
recruited any.
Yeah, that can happen later. It doesn't really. We don't have to set like.
I have an article due soon for journals, so I was gonna write something for that relevant to this. I don't know
Yeah.
how you could work that in, but this early in the planning process just kind of seems odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that should be dictated by the amount of content we have.
Yeah, we should send it out to people we know and everything, and see if we get any catches.
We'll have to write an essay now.
What?
Do we all have to write an essay now?
No, I don't think so.
I'm sorry.
No.
What? What were no.
What?
So I think that there is an issue with having too many cooks in the kitchen, like divvying up work. But at the same time, like I don't want just 2 or 3 people to do all of it and everyone else just chill. That's not really fair.
I want you to do all of it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we're all in a unanimous vote.
Yeah, I think we all vote together.
Like you have like a nice
Yeah.
podcast
You
set
know.
up.
Oh man, that means if I go down, we all go down. So
Uh-oh.
Sounds good.
No, you're gonna carry it. We got you. I support you.
Yeah, but
Alright,
would we need a host? Like, let's figure out what's all that about.
right.
Are we gonna
I
have
don't
someone
know.
in between the speeches be like,
I'm trying to figure out what hosting
No.
really entails.
I don't
Is
think
it
we need
first
just
of
a
all-
monologue to start and then just go?
like, do we need someone to be like, hey, welcome back to Speech of Blue? Like,
No.
if not, then it's just random people
That's
speeching.
cheesy.
Speeching.
That's
We
true.
could just have like
Yeah.
one person in between. Next, this person is going to talk about this, this, and this.
Yeah, just make like transitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a new.
Trey, do you
Yeah.
have a good camera?
Do I have a good camera? I have access to a good camera, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to do that, or
Are you willing to do that?
I don't know if I trust John. I don't know where he is.
Right.
Yeah,
I think we
like-
should have John do it just because he did so interestingly and
It's true.
not film, but whatever it was. Andrew, you look like with the microphone there and your beard and stuff, you look like you have a podcast about like IPAs.
That is so true.
Like we're gonna talk about the new
Like the
show
Joe
we're
Rogan
talking about.
podcast.
This water
Oh
IPA.
my god.
Bro, where's your pop filter?
Dude, I didn't
Yeah, you're
have one. My
lacking.
pop filter went away. I was using a nylon sock for a while, but
That's what I
I
did.
don't know what happened to that.
Yeah.
Do you record your voice? Or is this just for like gaming?
Yeah, dude, I demo my music.
That's what you record on? Oh, really?
You don't see the guitars in the background? It's 3.
I thought
Well, I
the-
know, but I didn't know that's the mic you use.
Okay, so
So how do we tell?
all right.
So,
We need to figure
Originally,
this
we
out.
came in debating
Yeah.
whether or not we were gonna do this.
I'm just like
We're going to.
doing it.
I feel like there hasn't been like even voice of.
I'm actually excited now because we have to do less work.
I don't know. I think it depends on who's doing the work. Like,
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
so what are we just supposed to like message a bunch of news companies and be like, yo,
Yeah, that has to happen. Someone's got to be on that.
oh my god, we're gonna have to like just blow them up.
So I can see my sister used to work for Channel 4 and Channel 5. This was a number of years ago. She may still know people. So I'll reach out to her and at least by next class know if she knows anybody and is willing to. I'm sure she would, but
Yeah,
should
that'd be
we-
great.
That sounds great.
At the
but should we
start,
have the
yeah,
content
100%.
ready before we send that out, or should we
Probably.
tell them, hey, we're going to upload this in a week?
I feel like we should just, I think that initially we should just say, hey, we're trying to figure out a way to get all of this set up because it was supposed to be in person, now it's online, and then kind of come back and then be like, oh, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but if we are, would you be interested in covering it?
You know what I just realized? This is recording. We should just start talking shit about Brad again.
It is recording.
I think
It's gonna like upload it to YouTube.
I think we'd probably have our best. I think we'd
Hey,
have
what's
our
up?
best luck with people sharing it once it's already been like. Once we have our first episode, if we got people looking at it, people start sharing it, then they tune in for the next one. Then it might start taking off, but it might be harder to get people to pay attention until we actually have something online for them.
As excited as I am for this, I don't think there's really much of a chance it takes off. I don't know that the content's gonna really you know what I mean?
You never know.
Still run like a promo kind of thing.
You're only saying that because you've never read my friend's books. Because if you're into
Exact.
your friend's books, you'd be like, how would that ever go? How would that ever go viral?
Yo, we know what your strategy was. You had that recording the whole time so you could hear the shit.
I didn't, but I'll look at it when I record
Oh,
it. I mean, when I
You're
I'll
done
go
now.
back and I'll listen.
You don't want to do that.
you're
It was
done.
pretty brutal. Will just started pouring out racial slurs.
Oh, God.
Really are.
Again.
Cut his mic.
Cut the mic.
So anyway, that's the 5 minutes. Are you guys good now? Or you want me to go away for a while more?
We definitely didn't
don't-
finish.
Yeah,
figuring out
no.
what we gotta-
About that.
We were
Not
almost
even
there
close.
though.
Different things.
Yeah, right.
All right.
We just need to allocate one more role.
Go ahead.
Who is gonna do the? See, Evan's gonna contact.
Right? I'll reach out and see if
Yeah.
I can get some contacts at like Channel 4, Channel 5 that were there from when she worked there. I was also supposed to reach out to the Tribune, so I can go ahead still and talk to them. But it's all just a matter of figuring out the timing of when we do that, I think.
Yeah.
I think you want to basically hit them the week before for television. Probably 10 days before for newspaper. You want to get them before the event. Maybe you want to get them during the event. And then,
So when are we actually doing the event?
well, I think that probably what makes sense is for, I don't know, the last week of April or the third week of April. And the reason for that, I would say, is that you don't want it butting into your finals period. And you want to have enough time to prepare and you want enough time for good speeches to come in. So I would say, Rachel, when you send your, it should be tentatively scheduled for the third week.
So the week of the 20th
Yeah.
or the week of the 13th?
No, the week of, hold on, the week of the 20th at least. I should have grabbed a calendar and put it in front of me. Hold on just a second. Let me grab a calendar.
All right, guys, have a chance to talk shit. I take advantage of this.
Oh my god.
Speaker symposium.
Symposium?
Symposium.
Love that.
Simp.
It looks like the best week is probably the 20th through the 25th, 24th rather. And you could do it as a 4-day week or a 5-day week. The Monday is Patriots Day. And like I said, what that does is that allows 1, 2, 3 weeks for speeches to come in. Rachel, you might find that the teachers say, well, we won't have great ones by then. We'll have great ones by the 24th, and we can always adjust it. But I think tentatively we should go for getting all of our speeches in by the 17th.
Okay.
And so what else do we decide about the speeches? They should be landscape videos if possible.
Mhm.
I mean, if you look at the screen now, you see Rachel and you see Amari, they're vertical, not horizontal, and they look fine. I mean, I think for a short presentation, I don't think it's that big a deal on the web, but
It looks bad in a
looks
YouTube
bad.
format, real bad.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
It looks bad in
such
everybody.
big borders.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't want it.
all right.
You don't want to
It'd be
like
kinda
have
charming,
a cut,
though,
and then
that's
all
the
of a sudden it's
angle.
like, all right, on to this person, and then that motherfucker's in portrait.
All right, so Rachel, you want to basically ask them to do it in landscape style,
hmm
and you want to ask it before, let's say, before the 17th of April.
Okay.
And
Hell yeah.
I guess the other question is, I've got a Dropbox file that we can put it in if you'd like. I don't know if there's a different way to do it. William, you know, actually, the best way to do it, William, do you have a Dropbox file?
I don't know if Dropbox or just using Google Drive is easier because you can upload to Google Drive and then share it. You can send it in an email. Then they can go to that Google Drive wherever it's hosted and then just download it. We can download it and then edit it into.
All right, do you
Yes.
want to, and where would they send it in Google Drive?
They would upload it on Google Drive. Upload a file. We'll have to tell them how to do it. It's not that hard. But and then they just send it to the Gmail that you guys made.
All right, can you send?
The link.
Could you send some sort of an explanation to Rachel on that? So she
Okay.
can send it to the speech teachers, the public speaking teachers? And, all right, so those are the big things we're looking for. We need them by the 17th. We need landscape style videos, and you're gonna do it by Google Drive. And then, I don't know if you want to just tell them in the letter that we're taking in the top. What's a good number of, is 5 a good number? I mean, five days worth of quote unquote Speechapalooza
I think
festival?
that depends on how many we get.
Say it
We
again?
should determine that based on how many videos we get. If there's like 8 people that speak, then we can't have 5 days.
Yeah, but you have, what happens if you have 40 videos that come in?
If we got 40
You
videos,
Yeah,
pick
we
the
got
best
40
one.
Videos.
I'd say 5 days if you have 40 videos.
Who's gonna pick the videos?
40
Who's gonna pick the
Um,
speeches?
I'd love to, but I'm already
Yeah.
have a role.
All right, so that
You
might
may
be something
judge.
you're gonna have to decide. Here's another thing to decide, but let's say this. Let's say, Jasmine, you were a student in my public speaking class. Julia, you were a speaker in my public speaking class. And Dylan, you were a speaker in my public speaking class. And I said, I'd like to submit your videos for Speechapalooza. And I submitted them and it didn't get in. Would you hate Trey for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people would. Yep.
I don't think we'll have 40, so I don't think we really need to worry
If
about
we
that.
have 40, I will castrate myself.
Quite a
Really?
Wow.
I think we might
Fine.
push for more.
bold
Yeah,
On camera.
man.
Rachel, what do you,
we got that recorded. you gotta do it. You gotta do it now.
It's over.
you've got to do
40
it
maybe.
now.
Yeah.
Get it on a recording.
You said it.
Can't take that back.
Is there a way that we can convey to the teachers that we're looking for a certain number or a certain, submit nominations?
Maybe we
You
could
could
say
call
like,
them like crying.
It's a lot of effort to record yourself doing a whole speech. I really don't see it being that huge.
Well,
but I
here-
mean, I
But
don't
here's
know.
the thing, William, for every public speak, I'm doing the open topics next week. And I'm doing sales pitches this week. So this week, I'm not really expecting great speeches, but I am next week. So of those open topic speeches, if it follows the way that most speech classes go, they'll probably be out of a 20-person class, there'll probably be 10 really good ones. So that's enough. I mean, I could basically reach into my 2 classes and give you enough content for the all of Speechapalooza, but I think it's a little unfair to the rest of the school.
Should we selectively pick people? Be like, I know this person
Yeah.
can
Well, I
do a
think maybe-
speech. Let me message them.
Well, here's the thing, if you're, maybe we write to the teachers and we'd say, we'd like 2 students from every class. And then the teachers are making the selections.
What class?
for the public speaking.
Okay, okay.
Rachel's going to send an email to public speaking teachers around the college and ask for, and we'll check with Amy Callahan to find out how many classes there are, and maybe we'll just come up with a number that we're looking for, and we'll just divide it by the number of public speaking teachers.
Yeah, we need a
That
number.
sounds
The
good.
number's 41.
We would like 41. It's a long story. Maybe that'd be a good way to cap it off instead of doing a raffle and a drawing.
Oh
I
my
don't like
God.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What do
I think we should
gotta-
bring back the reverse raffle.
How many public speaking classes are there? You know?
that's what I don't know, but I'm gonna
Oh, okay.
guess. I'm gonna guess there were probably at least 6, if not more. I've got 2. So
Professor, are you asking for recordings of people's videos or like live through Zoom?
no,
They
no,
give
they're gonna.
recordings.
It's all gonna be recording. You can't get in front of you can't get in front of a crowd. There's no public.
Well, I mean, are you going to be asking them to give speeches in this format, like live, or is it
No.
going to be a recording?
Oh no, in a recording. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm-
so then we could just straight up use their material.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
is no
that's what I'm
extra
saying.
step.
That's why it makes the idea of getting the content, it changes it a little bit, because now the teachers don't have to ask the students. They've just got to basically select a couple. Maybe they ask the students permission. I think they should, but they could send out a kind of a general email, and they say, if anybody doesn't want to give me permission, send me an email, which means nobody will, and or something. Maybe there's some way for them to get the permission of the students, but it's a lot simpler for the students to just say, yeah, we're going to submit this submit this video, than it would be to say, we need you to show up and we want you to wear, we want you to be prepared, and you're going to have to do something extra, because nobody's going to have to do anything extra. So, Rachel, we can,
Yeah.
so what we'll do is, I think, if it's good with you guys, Rachel, if it's good with you, when we send Amy we'll send Amy an email, and the email will, and I'll basically send it to you and Amy together. And,
Okay.
And I'll say, we're looking for a landscape. We wanted to get them by the 17th. We want to have them put it in Google Drive, and we're looking for, how many total speeches are we looking for? I know.
Everyone.
Right, I looked it up in the course search. There's 8 in-school public speaking classes and 1 online.
All right, so there's
If
9.
we got like 5 from each, that's 40.
That's right,
Oh.
which is too much.
No.
Well, actually, that's 45, but if you've got it online, then that means we have 9 online right now. So if we went
I
with,
feel like I don't like
3.
that 40 has become the threshold they're trying to pass.
You
Like
did
I
it
feel
to
like there's like
yourself.
this.
I think the real number is 50. Well, it's not 15 because we need an even number, but I think if we ask for either 2 per teacher or 2 per class, figuring that some won't participate at all, but I can always
Right.
pull out 1 or 2 extras, because I'll have some good speeches to choose from.
Yeah.
So if we ask for 2 per teacher or 2 per class, that should give us enough to do, that'll give us 18. So if we get them all, we can always fit that into five episodes, 4 with some episodes and 3 with others. Does that work for one and all?
I like that.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in this class that's willing to give a speech? I want to.
Okay,
All right, we got 1.
there's 1.
I feel like, is there going to be an issue with like the length of it?
I don't think so. I think that no matter what the length, I think that since every teacher has different requirements for their speeches, that we don't really have to worry about length. So I think we can just say it can be any length. And then
My concern is that at first we had it done in person, and I feel like it's a lot easier to hold people's attention for longer in an auditorium than it would be, per se, in a video format
Right.
digitally.
But if the teacher has made an assignment that you've got to speak for 10 minutes, and then you ask the teacher to send you some videos, you've just got to take what they give you.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
just edit it, crop some of it.
Well, how much you going to edit it? I mean, I think more to the point, if you get a bunch of long ones, you probably want to put them on at the end of the episode. And I don't think you should really worry that much about getting into the content because you can't control it that much. So I think we're just better off just taking whatever the teachers send us. And of course, we'd say in the email that we would send out, we would say something like, we're looking for your top quality speeches and length. Yeah. And I think we'd have to just say unspecified length or of any length, something like that. But we can work that out. So, anything else?
No, I think that was a really productive
Jasmine,
Zoom so far.
Okay, Jasmine, do you have anything else, or do we need anything else?
Oh,
No, I think that's it for right now, I guess.
Okay, and can you send me a copy of what you've got, Jasmine?
Yes.
And just I'll just look it over and just want to make sure. And in terms of, yeah, I mean this is going to be a big project, but I do want to see what everybody did, and I don't think I need an individual report from everybody. I just have to kind of get a sense of what the class learned as a group. So there'll be a report, I guess, Jasmine, that you can assign somebody to write it if you'd like, to take the burden off yourself, because you'll have other things to do. And maybe just a breakdown of who did what and what it entailed. And
Okay.
that'll be the paper that the class will do. Instead of doing individual presentations on, what I did and what I learned, we can just have one person send it in for the entire class.
Okay.
And you can just have, you just assign somebody, maybe Finn. I think Finn would like to do that. And I say that.
I don't want Finn representing us.
Well, you know something?
I'm sorry with how quickly I said that. That seems.
All right, so we're good. Let me look at the time. It's 1:30. The COVID-19 stories.
Good stretch, Evan.
What's that? Oh, Evan, you've done you picked out a story for me for a PR story.
I did.
What'd you get?
So it was Mercedes AMG Formula One team adds CPAP machines to COVID-19 fight.
Cool. Elise, what'd you get?
Robert Kraft uses Patriots plane to get 1.2 million masks from China for healthcare workers.
All right, that's a good one. My mass comm class was doing something similar, and somebody picked that up too. You think that, why do you think Kraft did that?
I think he did that to show that, like, in a time of crisis, he uses his resources and money to help fight coronavirus and provide stuff that healthcare workers need now to help fight it.
Okay, is it public relations or is it philanthropic?
I don't know what that word means.
What's that? Philanthropic means doing things for charity, doing things for the good of others, doing things for the good of the community. And
Well, I think he genuinely wants to help and, like, use his resources to help others, but I think it's also good for the name, like his name and the Patriots.
yeah, it's both. It's both, and and that's one of the things that you always have to keep in mind with public relations is just because you're trying to get publicity for it doesn't mean that you're not doing a good thing. And he
Yeah.
does have a history of Kraft has got a history of philanthropy. His late wife was involved in a lot of things, a lot of charities, and frequently one way for you to get publicity for a client or for your own business is to do good things.
Yeah.
I think it was Ben Franklin who said, who Ben Franklin was, everybody, right? Amari, Ben Franklin?
He was a member of like several sex clubs. He was so cool.
That's what you remember about him?
Yeah, he kissed Voltaire on the lips, man. He was a legend.
Okay.
So cool.
It's interesting the things that, all right, anyway. One of the things that he would say is you want to do good things and you want to make sure other people see you doing good things. And if you're cynical, you think that means you just want the credit for and everyone to think you're a great guy. But another way to look at it is if they see you doing it, people might be more likely to join in and do good things themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to all take whatever you found and just put it on the discussion forum on the Blackboard. and just a paragraph, but then I'd like you to read other people's and just comment. You know, you might have a question about it. You might have a parallel. Well, this is similar. This is similar to this. I mean, there's a lot of PR you see going on now because both from people who are we talked about it on Tuesday, people who are scrambling because they've lost business and they don't want to lose touch with their people. And also companies that are whatever, contributing in some way, you know, making masks, developing a vaccine, developing a treatment, any of that stuff. You know, hospitals are probably, I'm going to guess, are going to be looking at getting a little bit of PR for it, you know, for their involvement with, you know, fighting COVID-19. So I want you to comment on other people's, and I want 3 comments apiece. It's kind of a typical online thing when they teach online classes, they want to create discussion in the discussion board. So make sure you post it and make sure you comment on other people's. Other than that, I think for the rest of the class, more or less what we're going to do, since we're doing the Speech-a-Palooza, is we'll work on the planning of the Speech-a-Palooza as we go on, and I'll try to get people to come in as guests, and they'll talk about, like next week, we'll talk about crisis stuff, and Ernie Greenslade will come back and talk about the college's plan, and then I'm going to try and get a couple of other people who are in the business to talk about various aspects of public relations. And we'll do that in addition to planning for Speech-a-Palooza as it comes up. Is that going to work for everybody?
Yeah.
Are we still trying to do a charity?
What's that?
Are we still trying to find a charity? I know that NECC posted something about COVID-19 relief strictly for students. They have like a charity right now. That might be an easy one to ask for proceeds for.
Oh, that would be a really good one. You probably want to get in touch with the food bank and tell them. Or you might want to get back and say, is it still a need? We were thinking about doing this for that. We were going to do this. You want them to say you want them to say it's okay if we don't make it a food drive. Cause we were talking about making it a food drive, right?
Yeah.
So you probably want to just, you know, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. You probably want to send an email to her and say, you know, given this COVID-19 thing, we're not going to be doing Speech-a-Palooza live, but we're going to do it online. We thought, given the situation, there'd be less need for food and more need for donations. But yeah, I think either one of those is a really good charity. And again, with a charity, you've got a stronger hook. And hopefully you'll have a little bit of help from the school to promote it. So who's in charge of that?
I guess I can do that. I'll reach out to them.
Well, you don't have
I interviewed the food bank people, so
Jonas and Amari can crack down on it for you, and they can assign somebody that responsibility. I know Finn has been looking for things to do, so it's really up to you guys. Anyway, so anything else we have to talk about before I let you go? Everybody knows what they're going to do. Jess, you have enough work on this project?
No, not really.
Would you like more?
I mean, if there's like, yeah, if there's anything that you guys need.
Okay. Elise, how about you?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some, all right. Dylan, you feel the same thing? You'd like a little bit more?
Yeah.
John too. He said he's gonna get on next class.
Who is?
John.
John?
Yeah.
Was he at Tuesday?
I don't think so.
Why does he miss so much class?
I don't know. I sent him a message and I was like, don't forget we have Zoom. And he was like, oh shit. So he'll be on
He's very eloquent, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah. One thing I've had.
Too much gaming.
One challenge in this COVID-19 online learning situation is so many students haven't got back to me when I've sent out the emails that I spend probably a couple of hours a day responding to students who aren't making, you know, couldn't be in class and they couldn't do this or they couldn't do that or they didn't know about it. They didn't check their email for 3 weeks. And it's a real challenge for some people. And like I said, all the more reason when I send I'm going to send a link to the UML student who is kind of proficient in online classes. He has some advice for you guys. Setting aside time to do the work, not forgetting it once you get off the Zoom call and all that, or the Zoom chat. anyway, we'll work on all that going forward. So, Jasmine, you're going to send me something, and Rachel, you and I are going to talk by email, and the rest of you, let's see, Elise, who else? Who are the other people who wanted a little bit more to do?
Me.
Jess, Elise, Dylan.
Yep.
I'd do more if it was like not really all that time consuming because I do have to work.
Where are you
like,
working?
every day. I told you last class.
I know. I forgot.
I work at a hardware store. I work open to close
Yeah.
every other day.
The paint person. I remember that. I was talking to somebody about paint just the other day. So Julia would like more work as long as it doesn't involve more work.
Hey,
Nice.
I want to help, but I don't have a lot of free time.
Yeah, you don't want to be overwhelmed. And Delenia needs something, but she's limited because she doesn't have the audio or video capabilities on her computer. So, and Finn is always looking for more stuff to do.
Classic Finn.
Classic Finn.
Oh, he's so
Picture's funny.
All right, so good. Rachel, I'll send you something probably within the hour, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. See you guys. We'll see you next week. And
All right, thank you.
Peace out, gamers.
Just watch your Blackboard and watch your emails, and we'll talk.
Watch yourself.
yeah. No.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Go behind you.